I had some extra thoughts over the last video. Um, Something to keep in mind in that theater killing where the teenagers came in and killed the people. Also, since the people didn't have um, their eyes were not adjusted, because the guns that would go off would cause flashes, and that would blind people to where the gun, where the people that had guns were, unless you had some special glasses on that would protect your eyes from the flashes, and keeping your eyes, permitting your eyes to be adjusted to the low light levels that would, even the projector's probably still going. It's going to be very difficult for you to see the perpetrators. The other thing is that as a result of being shot at, you will be in fear of fearful for your own life being taken. The stress is going to cause your cognition to go out the window, and you're going to have a fight or flight response. You're going to flight more than fight. You're going to run out, and not only will you um, not only will you run away, but in that theater, people were likely running over each other, um, walking over, running over people. There were people probably getting injuries from people in other seats that were running over them, and so being able to protect people in such a situation, uh, someone could, without really thinking about it, think that it could have been controlled when it really couldn't. And you just, there are people that have a psychoses that they develop, the people that are survivalists, you know, um, survivalists could develop this mentality. Over, though I don't know if all survivalists have this mentality, but could develop from having a lack of security. They need to be apart from society. They may have trust issues with the government, trust issues with police departments and stuff. They may become like vigilantes. They may try to separate and prevent themselves from succumbing to any kind of world situation that might develop from a catastrophe. And that those are all forms of insecurity. The lack of, I think, insecurity. I haven't really looked up the term, but the lack of security, um, the inability to protect yourself from possible situations that may occur in the future, and you don't really understand how your brain is going to adapt to such a situation. It may be heroic. It may be unheroic. It 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 may be someone who's um, has the greatest intent to be heroic, but because of the stress, their cognition is hampered. They will actually make mistakes, and later on, um, develop a depression, a PTSD, and all sorts of stuff because they might have killed some innocent people in the process, or made some hasty decisions and failed to make the right decisions in avoiding the conflict. Um, they need to be rehabilitated to avoid the depression that's going to develop as a result of of having regrets about what happened during the occurrence. And then they have to forgive the people that killed them, or not killed them, but killed their friends, or killed the other people, because what develops from that is a kind of a paralysis of thought, where they can't continue to live and have the freedom they had before, because now they're more concerned with the vengeful with a vengeance to kill the person that killed the other people, and that doesn't result in bringing back people. It's just more evil, and it turns them into a killing machine rather than permitting them to go on with using their talents that God given them to go forward and become fruitful. They the this it's possible that if you're a Christian, to see such situations being caused by Satan to distract you from being able to live your life, and you become the monster that was the one that caused all of that, all those problems. And so if you don't separate yourself from that and are not able to move on from that, you will be like a prisoner to the to the concerns for security and the vengeance and all of the depression that comes as a result of regret. I've always said to myself that regret is a form of devil worship. It's you can spend a lot of time regretting things in the past, and you can never have any control over them. And even having the idea that you could have control over them in the future is just wishful thinking, that you may not completely understand the situation that occurred then, and the reason why you made hasty bad decisions was a result of of the stress, what stress does to a person, and that is hamper their cognitive ability. They just they they only are concerned about getting away from the source of the problem, getting away, fearing for their lives. They run away from the situation, or they attack. But in any case, they're not thinking well enough to have a plan of evacuation or anything of that nature. And that's the reason why policemen and people in businesses like theaters are trained on evacuating people in a reasonable manner, is because the people will run over each other, and if they don't know where to go, if they're not able to cognate, they're probably just going to do it anyhow. Even having a process of evacuation probably won't have any effect at all, because they're going to be in fear of their lives. And probably in such cases, I would say the theaters should probably put lots of doors in the theater, if they are in a part of the city that does witness crime, is susceptible to crime. I would put in such buildings more exits, because you have to be concerned about your consumers and about their needs for security, rather than, because when the gun terrorists are going to come in and shoot up everybody, even if they come from all doors, everybody's going to run over them. Even while they're shooting, they're going to be running over them, and they're going to completely stampede these people because they're in fear for their life, and they'll run toward them or they'll run away, but they will run because their brains are not working. So they'll run towards the gun, the shooters, and in that situation, since they are not, their eyes are not adjusted as a result of the guns having fired, they can't see where they're going, and they'll run right over the people holding the guns, because they're at the exits, and they'll see the exit and they'll run toward it, and they may run into the person holding the gun. The person holding the gun may kill them, but the one after that person is going to subdue them. So that's probably how that occurs.